Words cannot describe the pain and sadness and surprise that I feel with the recent loss of MJW. He was the big brother. He was a beacon. He was one of the most multifaceted, talented men. So gentle. And my heart and soul and hugs and kisses go out to his daughter and his wife and his mother. He gave the best advice. He gave the best hugs, and his smile will always be a huge, bright and white smile in my head forever. I love you, and I know you're watching over all of us now. Bye, Malcolm.
Stop what you're doing for a minute and read this slowly. Pamela Warner, the mother of Malcolm Jamal Warner, has spoken up in a way that makes people feel uneasy. She didn't use vague hints or soften her words. She said something the public had only been whispering about, and her statement changed the way many people imagine what happened. What looked at first like a sad accident now feels like there might be more beneath the surface. Pamela isn't just any parent. She managed her son's career when he became famous as Theo on The Cosby Show.
The beach where this shocking incident unfolded over the weekend, and you can see behind me right now there is a red flag up telling beachgoers to not go in the water, and of course those flags can change with conditions throughout the day, but there's a sign when we pulled up to the beach here that warns people about the risk of the current, about the risk of going in these waters. And of course we now know that for Malcolm Jamal Warner, going in these waters over the weekend proved to be deadly. A source close to the actor tells us that he was on vacation with his wife and his young daughter when a day at the beach went terribly wrong.
She watched him grow in the spotlight and stood by him through the pressures of fame. So when she says something feels wrong, people pay attention. Here's the short version of the timeline. Put simply, Malcolm left a low-key industry dinner at a private home. It wasn't a big party, a small group of people he knew. According to those at the gathering, he seemed fine, joking, relaxed, and in good spirits. A few hours later, he was found in a pool on that estate, unresponsive. The property was private and large. For reasons nobody has fully explained, no one close to him was nearby when he was discovered.
I want to remind you, as I remind myself, that no matter what's going on, there's always a reason to smile. Peace and love, and I'll be back soon.
Police quickly labeled the situation an accidental drowning. But the timing and the details didn't sit well with many observers. People who knew Malcolm said he did not usually swim late at night. He was careful about his health. He exercised, ate well, and took care of himself. Reports indicated that tests did not find alcohol or illegal drugs in his body, and he had no known heart condition. That alone raised questions in people's minds. How does a healthy, careful man end up drowning suddenly, with no sign of intoxication and with gaps in the timeline?
I was kind of going through a period that I was having a struggle with hopelessness.
Oh, okay.
And it was just really, the world is just in a dark place.
Yeah.
When important pieces are missing, people start asking the obvious questions. What happened between the time he left the dinner and the moment he was found? Why hasn't the homeowner said anything? Where are security camera clips, witness statements, or a clear explanation for how he moved from the house to the pool? Accidents can and do occur, but in this case, a lot of things didn't add up. So Pamela Warner spoke out. Her words were short and direct.
Think about people in my life who have gone on and transitioned. And I think about the lives that they've led, like they were really good people. So, and when we talk about, why are the good people taken away from us? And I go, maybe they're being rewarded or something.
She refused the usual, "Please respect our privacy" line many families give after a death. Instead, she said, plainly and calmly, that her son was not depressed, that he had not been taking anything, and that his passing was not simply an accident. Those are strong statements coming from a mother who would be the first to see if her child was struggling. She didn't sound like someone guessing. She sounded like someone who believed she knew the truth and was trying to say as much as she could without causing legal trouble. Early autopsy details fed the unease. No drugs, no alcohol, no signs of a heart attack or stroke. There were a few bruises, the kind that raised eyebrows. Bruises on the back of his head and on his shoulders. Those marks didn't look like the typical injuries you'd expect from slipping into a pool. The medical examiner suggested such bruises could result from a fall, but many people found that explanation hard to accept. A fall into water usually leaves different signs. The pattern reported did not match the most common accidental scenarios, and that mismatch made more people pay attention. Then Malcolm's cousin James went on Instagram Live and expressed anger. He didn't hold back. He accused people of hiding facts and suggested that those who knew Malcolm closely were not telling the full story. James stressed that Malcolm was careful about where he went and who he trusted. He said Malcolm would not have ended up alone at a stranger's pool without a good reason. James also raised the subject of race. He argued that if Malcolm had been white, the investigation and coverage might have been handled differently. He was not the first to point out the uneven way such stories are treated in the media. James added another claim many found worrying. Malcolm had recently cut ties with some people in the industry. He didn't name names, but he implied that a few people might have motives to keep quiet. Those people might know more than they are saying. Whether that's true or not remains unproved. Still, when a family member speaks publicly and insists something is off, it often pushes the story into a different light. Pamela did not stop at words. She hired a private investigator who is known for looking into suspicious celebrity deaths. This isn't a casual hire. Such investigators are called in when families do not accept the official account and want independent answers. Pamela's decision to bring in a specialist sent a clear message. She intends to find out what really happened. When a parent who managed a child's career takes that step, it's a sign she both doubts the official version and wants evidence. After Pamela began asking questions, some people close to Malcolm started acting differently. Some stopped answering her calls. Others gave vague replies or seemed nervous when she asked. That behavior only increased suspicion among those who knew him. Pamela kept pressing forward. She said she would not bury her son without knowing the truth. There were other details that stoked worry. Just days before he died, Malcolm had signed on for a new streaming series. This project was not a small job. It was a show about redemption, second chances, and revealing hidden truths in the entertainment world. People close to him said he was energized by the work and excited in a way he hadn't felt in a long time. He was working with independent writers and former insiders, even some who had access to stories from behind the scenes. The plan, reportedly, was to turn real experiences into a fictionalized series that exposed how things can work in the industry. Malcolm reportedly told friends he felt creative and driven. Beyond that, he had a full birthday weekend planned for Pamela, his mother, spa visits, dinner bookings, flights, all prepaid and planned in detail. That is not something someone who was depressed or withdrawing from life typically arranges. It looked like he had plans, commitments, and a sense of purpose. That detail made it harder for some to accept the idea that he had simply drowned by accident. Then there were problems with the property's security system. Property managers and the homeowner reported a system malfunction during the period when the incident occurred. There was no usable footage of the crucial hours. That timing felt too convenient to many observers. People who follow such stories know that cameras often record key moments, and that footage can be vital. When cameras fail at the exact moment something serious happens, questions will follow. People also pointed to a text Malcolm reportedly sent minutes before he was found, saying, "Not sure why I'm here. Something doesn't feel right." It is a short, unnerving line that suggests he felt uneasy shortly before the end. Those words fit with the idea that he wasn't under the influence of substances and that he was aware and alert enough to send a note expressing concern. Then a voicemail surfaced, a message he left for someone a few days earlier. In that recording, he reportedly said, "If anything happens to me, just know I was working on something bigger than us all." Those words sound like a warning, and they read as a hint that he was dealing with material or people who could be dangerous to cross. If true, that voicemail raised the stakes and added another reason for a careful, independent look into his last days. Despite all this, Official updates from law enforcement were sparse. The local authorities did not provide many new details, and the house owner did not make any public statement. For an actor who had helped shape television, the silence from the entertainment community was also noticeable. Some colleagues offered heartfelt reactions. Tempest Bledsoe, who played Vanessa on The Cosby Show, spoke emotionally about the family they had formed while working together. Her words felt sincere and personal. Others, such as Raven Simonet and Lisa Bonet, offered comments that hinted at complicated relationships or pressures but did not go deep. Lisa Bonet mentioned the heavy expectations placed on Malcolm when he was young, how people expected him to be the perfect role model. That pressure, she said, followed him. But many of the industry's biggest names gave short, formal condolences without personal stories or deeper remarks. For those watching, it appeared distant, especially given Malcolm's long, respected career. He was not a forgotten figure. He remained active in television and was known and liked by many in the business. So why did the overall response feel muted? There are several possible reasons. Some people may be grieving privately and want to keep their feelings to themselves. Others might worry about legal consequences or say little because they don't want to upset ongoing inquiries. And there are those who might know something but are fearful about speaking openly. The entertainment world is small, and rumors move fast behind closed doors. If someone's life or reputation is on the line, silence can be a reflex. Whether any of these reasons truly explain the quiet response is uncertain. Let's be honest, this is not an invitation to invent plots or accuse named individuals. It is instead a careful record of why friends, family, and some observers have doubts. A mother who managed her son's career, a cousin who lives loudly on social media, bruises that don't seem to match the official explanation, a voicemail that hints at danger, missing video from the property, and a private investigator. All of these things together make a lot of people ask for more answers. Those are not wild speculations. They are points a grieving family has raised. The family has the right to pursue the truth. The public, too, has good reason to ask for transparency. If you remove the drama for a moment,